Archives. This is the Oscar of the National Archives. This is really a building that is a reflection of the American people. And Ken Burns and Steven Spielberg, filmmakers, documentary specialists, are people who understand the importance of these documents, and that by looking at these documents, by studying these documents, they can share it with the rest of the world through their filmmaking.
Oh, look, history is the most exciting thing we've got. We live in two directions. We live in the future, toward the future, and we also live not enough in the past.
This institution is a fabulous institution, and if you ever want to feel good about America, which I hope you always do, come here. Here we have the great documents that have brought us together as a nation, created us as a nation, and keep us together as a nation.
In our infinite wisdom as a democratic people, decided to save our stuff. And our stuff is about slave records, it's about immigration records, it's not just the Charters of Freedom, which are of course hugely inspirational, but the quotidian moments that change everything.
We've got 12 billion pieces of paper. That's 12 billion stories to tell. 40 million photographs, miles and miles of film and video, all focused on the history of the country. And every day I see things, you know from history that something happened, but you don't associate documentation that goes with it. Like, you know we bought Alaska, but do you know there's actually a check for $7.2 million drawn on the Riggs Bank?
Obviously, the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, I mean, that was monumental and very impactful for me, to actually see the original one.
During his behind-the-scenes tour, we showed him a range of documents going back to George Washington's Oath of Allegiance at Valley Forge. He looked at the two 13th Amendments, which he was really moved by, the Supreme Court case, Amistad. So all of these documents that he's drawn on, he's done research for his films, have all been a part of his experience tonight.
Between Saving Private Ryan and Amistad, you just go back, he's done just extraordinary work in the field of history, and hopefully many more.
Steven Spielberg is the perfect recipient of this honor, because not only does he understand American history and convey it to many millions of people who would not really appreciate it without his sensibility, but he also uses this institution, the National Archives, to do a lot of his work.
The thing that was really amazing for me was to be able to see the 13th Amendment, to see the actual, document. I mean, when you make a movie, you make up this stuff. You make up what the document looks like based on the research that we did here at the National Archives. But then when you actually see it, it's an entirely different experience.
The role of public history, people interpreting our own effects, is as important as the scholarly work that goes on, because what trickles down from these popular films like Lincoln or Amistad or the other extraordinary film, Schindler's List, that Steven Spielberg has done, affects how much we read, affects the kind of questions we ask at the dinner table in our classrooms.
Oh, it's fantastic to be here with such a famous filmmaker like Steven Spielberg. And the great thing about celebrating the archives is that we have a duty in this country to pass on to future generations of Americans, to our posterity, the lessons of history. And that's what this institution is all about. That's what the archives is all about. And we need to learn from our past, and we need to celebrate American history.
I actually had the opportunity to work for Mr. Spielberg at DreamWorks for 10 years, and to watch a man know more about history and do the real research. So many movies, including the one I did, was a bit revisionist history. Well, my parents used to bring me to the National Archive when I was a child, and I was always fascinated with what the real true value of the documents were, so I came up with a movie about stealing the documents, and that's how National Treasure was born. And I think security's a little nervous when I came through tonight. They're feeling a little bit, that they know we're doing a sequel, number 3, so I think they're a little nervous tonight, but very excited about it.
And there's nothing on the back of the Declaration of Independence.